Hello. I must say that I'm very, very pleased to be with you today, to be with Alexis, obviously, because last year we announced our publisher ad server. And that was a big announcement for us. That was a big announcement, and we've worked a lot during this year. We definitely worked a lot to bring it to market. And right now, obviously, this is the time for us to talk about, with one of our clients, how was that change for them, because they've changed their ad server. They've chosen meaning to go with us. And obviously, we're going to be listening to their feedback. We're going to be listening to their return on experience on that change. And I hope you're going to find that very, very interesting. And I'm sure our friend from Trinity Mirror will also like this kind of feedback. So first, obviously, everybody knows Le Figaro as a brand. That's a huge brand in France. But last year, just to put that into context, last year for them was a very, very big year. First, meaning they acquired CCM Benchmark, which is one of the biggest sites in France. And it's obviously helped them to become #1 when it comes to digital in France. And they had also a leadership in print. So what really struck me was that they got a huge size, meaning they are really able to get and to touch 80% of the French population, and they do that every month. They do that through their 24 million readers, they do that through their 32 million uniques. So that you get into context, 32 million uniques in France, this is pretty much as big, if not bigger, than Facebook. So that's massive, and you would not expect that from classic print player. So it's a big player. Lot of challenges, lot of questions, and obviously a lot at stake when it's all about changing ad serving. So frankly, Alexis, beyond the size, beyond who the Figaro is as a brand, and just for our friends here to get that right, any fun facts you would like to tell about Figaro first?
Fun fact, basically we are like an old lady, because, and I'd like to believe that we are probably the oldest startup in the world, because we are a startup from since 1826. And basically, it's in our DNA to always go with technology. It's probably linked to our owner, because we are owned by Le Groupe Dassault, that make the jet fighter Le Rafale, and that also own Dassault Systèmes, which is a big company dedicated to IT business, 3D, reality, augmented, and things like this. And basically, it's in our DNA to control all our business vertically. For instance, we own our printing plant, and we are printing our competitor. So most of the daily printed in the French market is printed by Le Figaro. And when it comes to ad tech or technology, it's natural for our owner to support our investment without asking for ROI next month. We are able to invest into the future to be independent and profitable, because we also are one of, if not the only media group in France that are profitable. I mean the newspaper.
Impressive, meaning I would not have called you an old lady, but now I know. That's pretty nice. So if we change gear here, I think that the question that most of our audience is going to ask is, why did you decide to change your ad server?
It's a very, very simple question, and my answer will be simple too.
Good.
And when we bought CCM, we had 2 different ad servers, 2 different SSPs. So basically, it was just impossible to run a business like this. So we had to find a technology that will help us to embrace all the inventory to make our business. And basically, the fact that it's a full-stack technology were something important to us, because our programmatic CPM are between 45 and 60% higher than the one from our direct sales. So basically, it's not a threat for us to move to a programmatic. It's definitely an opportunity.
Wait a second, you just said that your programmatic CPM are 40% higher than your direct sales CPM, right?
Yeah, it's 45 to 60%.
Wow.
Especially because we have invested a lot of money in data, and so far we have our own DMP. We really have a deep knowledge into how to use the data at hand, to leverage it, and we use it through programmatics, through deal on our very first impression to get the better reach on, for the advertiser with emergent ad formats. So basically, it helps us generate a lot of money on this first impression through programmatic and thanks to the data.
Wow, definitely the way to go, I would say, for a few publishers who might be struggling on that side. At least meaning the switch here is absolutely obvious and has a lot of fruits and a lot of good news on that side. So let's get back to the change itself, frankly. Meaning, what were you looking in your, well, for your technology partner, or what were your top needs?
Basically, we need a technology that is able to manage seamlessly desktop or mobile inventory, because mobile represents half of our inventory. So basically, there was it was not a question for us to find a desktop technology and or another one on mobile. It had to be definitely the same, because we had unified the ad format on desktop and mobile, so that we are able to sell to an advertiser the brand and not a device. That's the first point. The other one is, as I mentioned, we are generating lots of money in programmatic. So basically, the fact that it makes a lot of money for us make us make the choice to move to a full stack solution. And then we are investing a lot on our own tool. We are putting our own layer of technology on top of the technology we are using from our partners. So we needed an independent partner, and that is quite open. And then, to what I know, you are still absolutely independent. And thanks to the powerful API you provide us with, we're able to really trick the AppNexus features to really adapt it to our needs. Can be on DMP with the log level data usage. It can be in terms of deploying the solution on different devices or so. So basically, it was definitely the point thing, because we deeply believe that if we want to compete Facebook or Google, we need to have the reach, for sure, but we need to control our technology to make the difference. Because if we are not able to offer the same level of technology or /service to our advertiser, we won't be able to compete with them. So basically, it was absolutely important for us to be able to do that.
Okay, so let me put this simply: independence, openness, API, and the capacity for you to build on top to really compete and differentiate.
Yeah, absolutely, and desktop and mobile.
Obviously, okay, very clear. Thank you. So obviously now we are meaning one of the most interesting dimension, which is the migration itself, right? Meaning I usually say this is just like a tango, it takes two. I would also say that it's never like a ballad in a park, so you can imagine dancing tango to go through the park, not so easy. But point here is migration of two ad servers at the same time for a publisher. It's never an easy thing. So feedback on that, how did it go?
So far, so good. As you know, we have 3 different publishers, 17 websites, different 24 applications or something like this. So basically, indeed, it's, the dimension can be impressive. And of course, we were expecting some glitches at the side. And even if we have prepared almost every use case you can imagine, of course, there are always a case you didn't think about that came the day after, and that's what happened. But honestly, we have been impressed by the way you have been able to support our migration, and the way you have been able to understand our needs and to fix or make the product evolve, honestly, at light speed. Because 2 weeks after the migration itself, the biggest issue were definitely solved. And even our own team has been impressed by your input onto this migration.
I'm just feeling much better just right now. It is absolutely true that I've been quite amazed by the reactivity of the team on the product side to really get the gist of the challenge at some point and to really produce things on the fly. But frankly, meaning it was also very, very interesting for us to go through that. So we understood what was the underlying reasons for you. We understood, meaning the migration approach. We understood what you were looking for. Let's talk about the kind of results that you've seen since you've migrated, meaning any things you were not expecting.
The first one that we didn't expect it at this level was the load of the page, because as you know, but maybe you don't, we are using the new AST tag that are asynchronous tags, and basically we reduce the load times by 2, so by 50%, and it helps develop the impression, the page view by user by 10%. So basically, I am a sales house with a publisher that is happy. And be sure that when your publisher explains you that he is impressed and happy, it's a good thing when you represent the sales house. So that's the first thing that struck us. And then if we are talking about revenue, because I'm still in the sales house, we see an improvement of our CPM on programmatic by 40%. And thanks to the mediation tool, we've been able to improve and have a deeper control on third-party sales house, and it improved by 20 to 25% on this part. So basically, 2 months after the migration, we are already seeing some real improvement, which is a good thing because we didn't expect it so fast.
Absolutely, and frankly, meaning, I must say that on our side, we were not either expecting, meaning, such a reduction in the load time.
Yeah.
So it was quite a good surprise for us too, and that's something that we obviously going to be repeating a lot to some of the clients we're going to see in the future, as you can imagine. So all good on that front. So now I would say, and that could probably, and I would love Piers to be here with us right now, but what I really would like you is to really give your view, and what would you tell to any publishers, maybe in this room, maybe elsewhere, who are still reluctant or still considering whether they should be changing at serving. Tom Shields was very clear about the header bidding option, right? Mm-hmm. But for the ones who are still not sold on that front, what would you like to share with them?
But basically, whatever the solution you will find, the thing is that we are definitely at a turning point into the market, to my personal point of view. So you have to move. Whatever you do, and it's better if you do the good thing, but you really have to move. In Chinese, the word crisis means risk or opportunity. And I think that if we just see the risk and wait for it and say, okay, we'll wait for a better day, you just jeopardize the future of your company. So basically, we decided to seize the opportunity and to move ahead. And some of our competitors say, wow, you're moving on full stack, but why? It's complicated. And so basically, we had the good team, we had the good partner, and we know why we are doing it. And we know that if we don't, we just probably dead in few years, because you really have to be able to leverage everything you have, because the competition with the GAFAs is definitely rude and brutal. So you really have to be the strongest as possible to ensure that you are not jeopardize your future. So basically, you have to know where to go and to find the good partner to go with you. You have to decide what do you have to take and to develop internally, what do you have to externalize to a partner. And when it comes to find a partner, you have to ensure that he will be able to understand your needs, to make its product evolve quickly and not with a 18 months roadmap. And you have to ensure that it's it's a cutting-edge technology. So basically, you can be reluctant to change, and it's a natural human position to fear the change, but it's definitely not a good idea to stay where you are now.
Great.
To my point of view.
Great. Well, definitely valuing this input, and I don't know what I should add to that. I think that you've covered most of the points that I could potentially think of, and we've seen a few partners who indeed have been avid for feedbacks. And I definitely hope that your input has been very, very useful for our friends here. Have been obviously very, very useful for the ones that we're going to be able to engage with. And I would like to thank you for your time. I know you're quite busy, so just taking the time to come with us and to talk about your return experience is great, and we appreciate that.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.